Opinion: why PM Modi's recent highest state honors reflect global support for Operation Sindoor in a span of 24 days, from June 15 to July 9, 2025. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was honored with the highest civilian awards from 5 nations: Cyprus, Ghana, Trinidad Tobago, Brazil, and Namibia. This unprecedented recognition not only celebrates PM Modi's stature as a global statesman but also underscores a resounding international endorsement of India's firm stand against terrorism, exemplified by Operation Sindoor. Through emphatic calls for zero tolerance against terror, along with strengthened defense ties and strategic cooperation in critical minerals, PM Modi's whirlwind foreign tours have reinforced India's role as a trusted leader in a multipolar world. A historic wave of honors. The conferment of these prestigious awards reflects India's rising global influence and Modi's personal commitment to fostering a world rooted in peace and equity. In Cyprus on June 15, President Nikos Christodoulides presented PM Modi with the Grand Cross of the Order of Makarios III, lauding his efforts to strengthen bilateral ties and global cooperation. In Ghana on July 2, President John Dramani Mahama conferred the Officer of the Order of the Star of Ghana, marking the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister in over 3 decades. Days later, on July 4, Trinidad Tobago's President Christine Carla Kangaloo awarded the Order of the Republic, a historic first for a foreign leader, recognizing Modi's humanitarian leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic. In Brazil on July 8, President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva presented the Grand Collar of the National Order of the Southern Cross, celebrating Modi's contributions to the Global South. Finally, on July 9, Namibia honored PM Modi with the Order of the Most Ancient Welwishia Mirabilis, raising his tally of international honors to an impressive 27. These accolades are more than ceremonial. They signal global alignment with India's vision, especially its decisive anti-terrorism stance through Operation Sindoor, a bold military operation targeting terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan. Modi's tour, spanning 3 continents, intertwined diplomacy, shared values, and strategic partnerships, reinforcing India's leadership in tackling global challenges. Unified stand against terrorism. At every stop, PM Modi delivered a clarion call for zero tolerance against terrorism, framing it as a universal threat demanding collective resolve. In Cyprus, he declared, "Terrorism knows no borders, and we must stand together to deny it any safe haven," setting the tone for enhanced counter-terror cooperation. In Ghana, addressing Parliament on July 3, he linked India's proactive measures, including Operation Sindoor, to a shared commitment with Africa, stating, "Terrorism is the enemy of humanity. India and Ghana will work hand in hand to uproot this menace." In Trinidad Tobago, speaking at the Red House on July 4, Modi invoked the nation's own history of facing terror, saying, "This very parliament has felt the scars of terror. We must unite to ensure terrorism finds no shelter." At the 17th BRICS Summit in Brazil on July 6 to 7, he urged, "BRICS nations must lead with zero tolerance for those who sponsor or shelter terrorists," a stance echoed in the summit's strong anti-terror declaration. In Namibia on July 9, Modi reaffirmed, "India's resolve is clear. Operation Sindoor sent a message: those who threaten humanity will face justice." These consistent, forceful messages resonated across diverse audiences, amplifying India's leadership in building global consensus against terrorism. The international community's recognition of Operation Sindoor as a legitimate response to cross-border threats, highlighted by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar at the Quad Foreign Ministers meeting, underscores its pivotal role in shaping this shared stand. Deepening defense ties. PM Modi's tour significantly bolstered India's defense partnerships, positioning it as a reliable security partner. In Cyprus, discussions with President Christodoulides advanced maritime security cooperation and joint exercises in the Mediterranean, complementing India's Indo-Pacific strategy. In Ghana, the elevation of ties to a comprehensive partnership included agreements on maritime security and defense training, with India aiding capacity building for Ghana's forces. Trinidad Tobago saw commitments to cybersecurity and defense training, strengthening India-CARICOM security ties. In Brazil, talks with President Lula explored collaboration on India's Akash missile system proven effective in Operation Sindoor and secure communication technologies, along with maintenance support for Brazil's Scorpeni submarines. In Namibia, Modi's visit reinforced training programs and maritime security cooperation in the Indian Ocean, aligning with India's backing of African nations' security needs. These agreements reflect India's growing role as a provider of advanced defense technologies and expertise, enhancing its strategic footprint across Africa, the Caribbean, and Latin America. Strategic gains in critical minerals and beyond defense. Modi's tour prioritized critical minerals and geostrategic cooperation, addressing India's need for secure, diversified supply chains amid China's dominance. In Cyprus, talks explored copper supplies for India's renewable energy and EV goals, alongside digital and space technology partnerships. In Ghana, agreements on critical minerals and traditional medicine aimed to double trade within 5 years, with India proposing secure supply chains through the Quad's Mineral Alliance. In Trinidad-Tobago, discussions focused on renewable energy and critical minerals, leveraging cultural ties with its large Indian origin population to deepen economic bonds. In Brazil, Modi and Lula advanced cooperation on rare earths vital to India's green ambitions, while expanding the $12.2 billion India-Mercosur trade pact. In Namibia, deals on lithium and graphite supplies, along with UPI interoperability and pharmaceuticals, built on the success of India's Cheetah Translocation project. These partnerships position India as a counterweight to China's mineral leverage, fostering South-South cooperation and advancing Modi's vision of equitable global governance. Operation Sindoor and India's soft power. Operation Sindoor has emerged as a cornerstone of India's global narrative, with these nations' honors signaling tacit approval of India's decisive action. On July 6 in Rio de Janeiro, the Indian diaspora welcomed Modi with a cultural performance centered on Operation Sindoor, featuring semi-classical dance to Sogand Mujhi Iss Midi Ki and the refrain Yadesh Nahi Mitna Dunga, symbolizing courage and national pride. The performance, with paintings depicting the operation, was a tribute to the armed forces. Modi, visibly moved, praised the diaspora's efforts and their deep cultural ties. His diaspora engagements in Ghana and Trinidad-Tobago, where he announced expanded OC card eligibility for sixth-generation Indian origin citizens, amplified India's soft power. His push for the African Union's G20 membership and initiatives like Mahasagar further cemented India's leadership in the global south. A new era of global leadership swipe left for next video. Prime Minister Modi's five-nation tour, culminating in a historic cascade of honors, marks a defining moment for India's global ascent. His firm calls for zero tolerance against terrorism, paired with strategic defense and critical mineral partnerships, have solidified India's position as a beacon of stability and progress. Accepting these honors on behalf of 1.4 billion Indians, Modi has woven a narrative of resilience and unity, with Operation Sindoor as its bold centerpiece. From the Mediterranean to the Atlantic, India's vision for a secure, equitable world has found resounding global backing, heralding a new chapter in its diplomatic and strategic leadership. The writer is a national spokesperson of BJP and an author. Views expressed in the above piece are personal and solely those of the author. They do not necessarily reflect News 18's views. Latest blogs.